Hi, welcome back to Rambling Roxy. Today instead of doing some adventures through history, today we're going to be doing some adventures in writing. As you might have known watching previous episodes or reading the description, I was an English teacher specifically for like grades 5 and 6 before I had the twins, and I spent a lot of time teaching just writing to my students. And during that time period, I decided to do some writing of my own. I always like to do a little bit, but during that time period, I wrote several books, as you can see, all mysteries aimed at like middle grade, young adult. If you want to check out more about them, you can always find those links in my bio. I won't go on about the books right now, but the whole point being is that I became an author, and I spent some time developing my own writing craft. This takes time, and I kind of wanted to share with some of you that could become young authors in the future some helpful tidbits on how to get you into the creative writing process. Because there's a lot out there, and we don't always have time to do this in school, to sit down and just teach like the more fun portion of writing versus writing reports all the time, which are equally important, but it's also fun to just get your creative juices flowing. So we're going to do an episode today on descriptive writing. And as I started writing my books, if you ever end up reading them, you'll notice I developed my own writing craft as time went on, and my descriptive writing got even better. It's kind of like it's supposed to flow over time. I know some of you are like, what is descriptive writing? Well, plainly speaking, descriptive writing is a literary device. What a big term, right? Or it's just a tool that one uses to paint a picture with words. So you might see this on a test that descriptive writing, it's a literary device that authors use. But in all honesty, descriptive writing is just painting a picture with words. And how wonderful does that sound, right? So if you're reading a book and it says something like, it's raining, you know it's raining, but can you feel it, see it, smell it? Probably not. You just know it's raining. Like, are there all different kinds of rain going through your head at that moment? It's nice to give a little bit more than just it's raining. It's fine if you're writing in a diary about the Oregon Trail or something. You're just like, hey, it rained today. But instead of doing that, instead of saying it's raining, try some of these things. Thunder rattled the windows, and the wind whooshed by like a freight train. Lightning lit the tumultuous rolling clouds as the dinner plate-sized raindrops plopped against the grass. The air sizzled with electric. I mean, that sounds like it's a thunderstorm, right? That just really comes to life, and you can kind of see what kind of storm's going on. You can picture yourself there. And then it sounds like a raging storm instead of just a drizzle. So it helps the reader kind of get more of a picture of what's in your head. So we're going to kind of figure out how we can do that, because it's really easy to just say write what I just did, but it's also kind of like when you're in the middle of the writing process, you're like, well, it's raining. Okay, well, here are some tips. Don't be afraid to use the Thesaurus to find the right word. I do it all the time. The Thesaurus is kind of like the dictionary, only it can help find replacement words. So for like big, scary, loud, just type it in to the Thesaurus. Well, you can look in a book, there's Thesaurus books, but you can also just go online to Google and thesaurus.com, and you can just put in loud, and it comes up with all these other words for the word loud, and that helps you describe it in a more accurate way. Another tip is to put yourself in the scene. So actually imagine yourself there. If you're writing about your character experiencing a rainstorm, or maybe it's just a gentle rain, it's up to you, it's your writing. Think about like the mood of the story, what's happening with your character, and what's going on with the weather outside, and kind of really put yourself in there to describe the scene. Make sure you're using all 5 senses. Don't be afraid to like jot down the scene and actually like make a little like hand of your 5 senses, and make sure you put those in that descriptive paragraph. So think about what you see. You can just write that like, what do I see? What do I hear? What do I touch? What do I taste? What do I smell? Like in the paragraph I wrote, you heard the thunder rattling the windows. right? You could see the lightning. There wasn't like, I think the taste, like the lightning crackled, you could say that you tasted that. But think about all your senses and try to engage all of those in your writing. And that will help you visualize the scene, but also help your audience visualize your scene. Because you have a great story in your mind, and we want to make sure the reader gets the best description of what that story is. Another tip is to use simile and metaphor and add adjectives. Simile and metaphor are another literary device that you guys will learn about. It's basically they're both comparing things. So you could say it was a cold, damp November kind of rain. That's a different kind of rain than what a thunderstorm is, right? You could also say it was the storm was like a roaring lion, and that's a simile. Use those and make sure to you can look up ones online and find a whole range of them that kind of help you with your writing too. Another tip is to also read your description out loud. So once you're done writing, read it out loud and think, can you actually visualize the scene? So write down your scene, maybe step away from it for a few days and come back and reread it and go, do I see the same scene that I saw myself writing? If you didn't, then you need to go back and you need to kind of tweak what you wrote. That doesn't mean that you have to change the entire thing. That just means you need to go back and go, how can I describe the thunder better? How can I describe this? Or it doesn't have to be just weather. I'm just using weather for an example because it's kind of easy. But whenever you're describing the scene, make sure you return to it later and kind of see what you can do to help your reader understand what you're trying to write about more. So thanks for tuning in to Descriptive Writing. I hope you tune in again for some more things. We're going to be talking about character development, plots, how to start your story, and how to end your story. That doesn't mean I'm saying what you should do, just different ways you can think about ending it. So as you're doing some stuff today, I'm going to end this with a couple cool pictures at the end. And feel free to just look at those pictures and just get creative and describe the scene going on. You don't have to think of a storyline or plot or anything. Just sit there and describe what's happening in the scene. You don't have to do all of them. Maybe just stop and pick one or two of them and really make that scene come alive with words. Paint that picture with your words. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe.